Welcome, friends. This is Emmy. I'm a CZT, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. Just like you've come to know, I have a pattern I'm real excited about. And I also right away want to share with you what I'm thankful for today, because I have to post this kind of on the 5th before we get Chrissy Frampton's Zentangle that she's glad for. What I mean to say is we have our tangle, but I do not have her quote yet. So my thing I'm always thankful and grateful for is that I can teach others, and it's such a gift. I am so thrilled with everything about being here with you. I wanted to get started with our cute little rolly book, and I always like to look at where I've been. I hope you understand that. On the back of each of these, I put the thing I'm grateful for. And I am noticing that I'm enjoying using my white chalk a little bit. The third, we did Step Heart. I loved that too. And the next day, the fourth, we did Wings. And that was also very, very fun. I really like wings. Then the next one today we're going to work on is called Marnie. It's by Chrissy Frampton. She's a CZT from England, or the United Kingdom, I should say. I'm not exactly sure where in the United Kingdom she's from, but I think you'll love this. If you like Art Deco, you're going to love this pattern. I'm going to turn this paper. All of the work we do is fairly small. What I'm going to do in pencil is I'm going to eyeball a box. I don't feel I need to have a ruler. If you do, just grab it. I'm going to divide my box, and I'm going to divide my box again. The next thing I'm going to do is, this is a cheat line just for me. It will make my project with you so much easier. If I have that cheat line, then I feel like I'm going to be able to just fly with this. So I've got all kinds of great supplies, including my trusty eraser, which I might need today, because I don't need all of these, although they can turn into some wonderful shading. Each of these boxes is going to be a pattern, so I'm going to divide it up right like this. Watch. Do that, and then do that one more time. So it's a zig and a zag. I'm going to do the next thing, that very same thing down here, aiming for the middle. A zig and a zag, a zig and a zag. Now that I've got that, I'm going to aim a little higher this time from the bottom, straight line, and down. So a little higher, aim high, and back down. Same thing here. I'm going to aim a little higher and down. I put my dot there, just, you may not be able to see it, but I really want to aim for that. And back down. Now that I've finished that part of this Art Deco project that I have here, and she said, by the way, that was how she decided on this project too, was she saw a door. And when you see how this pattern looks, you're going to want to do this again, and maybe you've seen it on a door yourself. So I'm going to do a bunch of zigs and zags, stick down and back up, and then I'm going to come up, down, back to the middle. And I have enough room that I can do one and have these join. I'm going to go the other direction with this too. Down, back. Looks like I can get 3 easily on here. And then replicate this, back up, and only 2 that direction. Well, that's all right. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to put some lines in here and here and here. So kind of watch, or maybe just go ahead if you know what we're up to. This is what I'm up to, putting lines in here. And then I'm going to put some more in here. Now she's got a ton of variations and a ton of different ways to do this pattern. I'm going to show you one other one on the calendar page in just a minute, a variation of this basic pattern that she did. She deconstructed it, and there's more out there. It's something you could probably do and submit a pattern to Tangle Patterns or wherever you want to submit it. I need to turn this. I can't get my hand to do a good job if I don't turn this page. Jesus, this is so pretty. Okay, now it's time to get some shade on here. And I want to darken these squares, these smallish squares here, like this. So I'm going to I grab my PN pen because that has a plastic nib. And the PN pen is a lot easier to darken small squares like this. And if you have a 0.5 or any other one, that would be fine. As you know, any material is fine for your project. How fun is this? Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to grab my pencil and I'm going to do a ton of shading, and I'm going to do some heavy shading too. First thing I'm going to shade is inside these lines that I made on all 4, or is there 6? I think there's 6. You can just get the idea that this goes on and on and on, can't you? So you could extend your boxes sideways, or you could extend your boxes any which way that's interesting to you. Could do another row down below. Now I'm also going to do some shading on the other side here. And that's also going to be some very heavy shading. You see, I'm really working carefully on the side of my pencil, and I have my pencil very sharp because I want this to really make it pop off the page. I will diffuse this one more than I will the other. But I'll explain all that as we're going here. Now, if those pencil lines bothers you, if it bothers you, just go ahead and get rid of them. You know, no problem. Okay, so I've got all the shading I think I want. We'll see. I'm going to come along here like this inside these first and diffuse, push it in. This is going to give the illusion of going inside, of depth. Then I'm going to go to the outside and also diffuse. Now, if you want to take the time to get rid of these or just shade them in, your choice. You really don't have to do much shading on this. And if you want to get rid of those lines, just you know what to do. Or just push it around a little bit like that. And that also is gone. So the next thing I'm going to do, I think that is so cool. I hope you like it as well as I do. And that is just what I wanted to do with this. But now I'm going to do a different one for you, a different version of this on my calendar. So if you have time to stick with me, And by the way, I'm not bothering to put the numbers on this calendar. This is why. I have this. Oops, wrong way. I have this thing that I downloaded from the Zentangle site. And so I just put the name of this and I'm going to put it on the back of the calendar. So I'm going to have all the names because the dates are 1, 2. So do you see my method to my madness? Anyway, so we're on day 5 and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to create 4 boxes here. I'm going to start with a big one, big box, divide it, and then I'm going to run a line, divide that in half, and divide this side in half. I don't think you need to grab anything else. Some of this stuff is going to be quite similar to what you already did. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 areas. So I'm going to aim for this and do a zig and a zag here and here. I'm going to do the same thing down here. Aim and aim for this. And then I go the opposite direction. So from the top, and I want to land there. So you see I created the same little box and already it is slightly different, isn't it? Aim for that. Aim for this. One thing I want to do before I go any further is darken these squares. They're small, although you can certainly make them larger if you want. Instead of making the diagonals this time, I'm going to do a whole slew of diagonals. Watch how this looks. I'm going to use this center line here on all 4, and I'm going to come up like that on a diagonal. Do it here too. And here. So I'm using that square to be my guide. Okay, now I'm going to use the square again to be my guide in this direction. Don't try to line those sticks up. They won't. And you'll just make yourself crazy if you try to line them up. And no one is ever. That's the beauty of Zentangle. It's one stroke at a time, and nobody is looking at those kinds of details. If I do these all the same, I create muscle memory all the same. What I mean to say is at the same time. Okay, so now here I am at the other side, and I want to do the same thing. So I'm going to follow the box and take this down, follow the box again, go the same direction with my zigs or my sticks. Isn't this cool? I can so see this on a parquet floor, which is a beautiful wood floor. If you don't have one or know, I haven't seen one in a long time. My parents used to have one. Beautiful wood that goes back and forth and back and forth. Now what's important in this pattern, and the way I've done it this time for you, is that you have an area of white space for your brain to rest, because there's a lot going on here. Shading is huge. Isn't this cool so far though? Okay, shading is just huge on this. We're gonna shade inside where the sticks are and in the middle of the flooring or whatever you want to call it. Sorry, maybe you don't call it that. So forgive, please forgive. This one, I'm going to go around all 4. And it is better if I work my pencil into this corner, but this is such a small piece. I don't really feel like I have to if my pencil is sharp enough. And here I'm going to go both ways. Like an X. And you might say that kind of mars this middle one here. If that bothers you, just go like this. Lighten it up there. All I've got is my nice gum eraser, and all I'm doing is lightening it. I'm not taking it off, although I could, but I really don't want to do that with all this gorgeous shading I put on here. So hopefully I didn't do too much with that. And what I'm going to do now is push that shading around. You know, I might have lifted a little too much there. You can't even see what I had here. There we go. I think I just was a little zealous with my lifting today. Too much. Oh well. Mama said there'd be days like that. So I want to get that back dark again here. Push it around. Soften it. That's really what I'm doing with my shading, is softening it with my blender stump. But if you don't have a blender stump, use your finger or your Q-tip. These things work quite well too. Isn't this cool? I just love it. You can certainly do more with that. I can shade in here too if I wanted, and that is really a cool look. So do as you like, as it appeals to you. And I'm so glad you were here today. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon. So check back in tomorrow for day 6. I'm excited about that too. Bye.